Where's the cheese?
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
But it's just sauce.
Cheese is under the sauce.
That's not enough cheese.
Cheese is under.
If there's one thing that most Americans don't understand, it is how much cars have ruined cities, and how much cars have ruined so much of our daily lives.
A study commissioned by DART found developments built between 1993 and 2013 near light rail stations like Mockingbird are worth more than twice as much as developments built in comparable places without rail.
The truth of the matter is that the reality of cars being the default mode of transportation is something that was actively a choice in American history. We need to remember we used to have really awesome streetcars, and the United States used to be one of the world leaders in rail. We had streetcars, we had trains, we had awesome public transportation, and people, of course, could walk. We had very, very walkable cities, and the walkability of those cities was completely destroyed. The streetcar systems were taken out of the ground, and we basically haven't invested in rail in any substantial way in nearly 100 years.
Fast, quiet, comfortable. One of the world's most modern trains linking a political capital to a financial hub. No, we're not talking about Washington and New York. This is the first high-speed train between Beijing and Shanghai.
And the reason for this is fairly simple. It turns out that giant oil companies and car manufacturers had a huge interest in making sure that there were as many streets and highways that were solely developed for cars in order to sell more cars and sell more oil. We've basically been building our entire economy off of that reality since the end of World War II. But it's important to remember, development is possible in a completely different way.
Walt Mountford is developing a giant mixed-use project called CityLine. It's located adjacent to a DART rail station and two major highways in the suburb of Richardson. It'll have nearly 4,000 rental units, a hotel, 28 restaurants, a Whole Foods supermarket, and 4.5 million square feet of office space.
So this TikToker is 100% correct. The people who say that they don't like cities are really saying that they don't like cars. In terms of traffic, Minneapolis has been great ever since the coronavirus pandemic started, because people aren't commuting for work as much. With all that remote work that's freed up the streets, so that driving is a lot less traffic heavy endeavor. And it would be pretty easy to replace a lot of the transportation within the city with more buses and potentially even streetcars. It turns out those were a pretty fantastic solution. But there's also a solution like bikes. And we need to understand, this isn't fantasy land. It is actually possible to do transit-oriented development. It is possible to take cars out of cities. Just look at the development that's happening in China, where they have a huge effort to shift towards bicycles. I mean, seriously, look at all of the bicycles in that scene. Have you seen that many bicycles crossing the street? And all it takes is for you to develop roads so that it's safe to bike. It turns out, if it is safe to bike somewhere, people will prefer biking, especially if the trip is less than like 2 miles, which very often in the city it is. I'll tell you this, where I live, the speed limits are incredibly low, and while there is some vehicle traffic, it's mostly foot traffic on the ground. It's an incredibly quiet, pleasant atmosphere to walk around in. Believe it or not, cities are actually really fantastic, beautiful places where you can see a lot of really dope architecture, and if your city is designed properly, you can also see a bit of nature in it as well. And if it's walkable, then you can walk to your favorite restaurants. This is Ben Carollo with Rebel Headquarters. You can catch my show Galaxy Brain on the Young Turks Twitch channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with my content.